www.untitled.com, and today we're going to be making a sweet chocolate chip cookie. That sounds absolutely exotic and I can't wait to get started. We had a voting poll on Friday as usual and that recipe won, so we're going to go through the ingredients before we get started. So we've got 155 grams of flour, I've got 100 grams of sugar, 50 grams of brown sugar, 30 grams of unsweetened cocoa powder. We're going to be using 1 egg, and I've got half a teaspoon of baking soda and half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, so we're going to get started with our chocolate. I forgot to mention that we've got 100 grams of very good dark chocolate, which is your semi-sweet chocolate. Again, if you can't find chips to buy, which can be an absolute nightmare sometimes, what you can do is just get a really good bar of your dark chocolate and then just chop that up into little bits, like what I'm going to do now. So I'm just going to put this on my chopping board and now what I've done here is just giving it a rough chop. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know, just make sure it's roughly chopped, and we're going to add all of that, all the little lumps and crumbs and the shavings to our recipe. So we're going to get started with the creaming of the butter and the sugar. So I'm going to put in my granulated sugar in the bowl. So we're going to add in our brown sugar as well. And I'm just going to cream this for about 4 to 5 minutes until it starts to get quite pale and fluffy. This is nicely combined. I'm just going to add in our egg. And I'm going to mix that in at low speed just until it gets mixed in and combined again. Okay, so next in is 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. Okay, so now to our dry ingredients. I've got 155 grams of flour here, and to that I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt. Just make sure I get it all out. Okay, half a teaspoon of baking soda. Now you don't want to go too heavy on the baking soda because it can leave off a soapy taste. Okay, and I've got 35 grams of unsweetened cocoa powder. I'm going to add that to the mix and we'll give it all a mix there. Okay, so this is going to go in about 2 batches. Okay, I'm just going to mix that. Second batch going in. We'll give it a mix. Okay, so what you're aiming for is a pretty soft dough. Now I'm gonna scrape down the sides, and then now it's time for the chocolate chips. Now what we need to do is we're gonna fold that in to the mix, and that will be the last step of this fabulous cookie. Fold this in. Wow, this looks absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just going to leave this to rest for a bit while I get my fingers washed, and we're going to put this in little balls in our baking tray, and the baking will start in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to make this into little ball sizes. Oh god, I can't wait to taste this. Now what you want to do is to spread them, make sure there's enough space in between each one, because you don't want it to spread into each other. It also helps if you leave your cookies to rest in the fridge, but because I'm in a hurry today, I'm going to cook 1 batch and then we'll save the other batch in the freezer. Okay, so these are ready to go right in the oven, and I'm going to bake them at 180°C for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm just going to keep an eye on it, and I also want to make sure they come out quite crunchy, so I'm going to increase baking time. I might be increasing baking time, so in this helps. Right, so these are ready, and what we'll have to do is just leave them to rest in the pan for about 5 minutes before you transfer them to the cooling rack. So I'm just going to transfer these to the cooling rack to finish off the cooling process, and I can't wait to taste one of them. Now if you want them quite flat, what you need to do is to reduce the size of your dough. And if you want them quite fudgy or chunky, then using an ice cream scoop would really help you get that fudge-like taste to it. Right, I can't wait to taste this, so I'm gonna do the honors. This is so good. It's got the right hint of that crunch. It's crispy. It's got that lovely warm chocolatey taste. This is really good. Tops any chocolate chip cookie you can get from the shops. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I'm gonna finish this. For all the yumminess and all our recipes. Do have a good week ahead, and I'm gonna settle down and finish my half-bitten chip. And until I come your way next time, it's goodbye from me.